Okay, so it's time to talk about leading. It's when it comes to pulling girls, when it comes to making shit happen, when you're going out and getting results, you need to understand how to properly lead a girl, how to properly go from hey, we're here in one moment and then we're going somewhere else. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna crack into kind of the philosophy behind leading. So when you lead girls properly, you're establishing yourself as the cause versus the effect. Most guys, when they go out and they meet a woman, again, they're the guy who's chasing. They're the guy who's please let me allow you to give me time, the time of day. Most guys are looking for the girl to approve them. But when you lead, you reverse that. Remember we talked about part of the fuckboy friend principles being the buyer instead of the seller. Leading is what gets you there. Leading gets you that one step closer to being the guy who is the buyer instead of the seller, or the buyer instead of the seller. Because when you lead, you're reversing roles. You're establishing yourself as the cause, not the effect, and you're tapping into her feminine energy. Most guys who don't know how to lead, most guys who can't lead, or who will stay in an interaction talking to a girl in one spot for 2 hours, and I'm talking about actually physically leading. Most guys who are in those situations are not getting the girl's feminine energy. They're getting more of the the neutral emotions the girl has. Remember we talked about getting into those deeper layer emotions, and that's what happens when you don't lead properly. When you don't lead, you're not going to be tapping into the girl's feminine. Instead, you're going to be working with her surface level emotions. So part of being a man who knows how to get results with women, part of being a man who has these fuckboy from dating principles is learning how to lead. It's learning how to be a guy that can say, hey, we're here at this moment and we're going to go here. And you really allow the woman to interact through her emotions when you lead. Because if you're the one who's taking charge and the girl doesn't have to make logical decisions, and we talked about, the logical versus emotional, if she doesn't have to make logical decisions, you're going to be fucking winning. If the girl doesn't have to logically decide, okay, now in this moment, we're going to do this. That's more of a masculine feature. If you're allowing her to just say, hey, we're going to flow and act as we want in the moment. We're just going to flow and act as we want in the moment. She's going to be more feminine because you're the one guiding. You're the one who's using your masculine presence to say, hey, we're going to go here, we're going to go there, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And the girl kind of just falls into that reality. Right? She just falls into that frame. Okay, now what's important to understand is that when you lead, the way you're going to be leading is through emotional momentum. It's something I call emotional momentum, and this is essentially the building block behind how you lead a girl. Having emotional momentum is the building block behind how you lead. We're going to crack into that here. So what does emotional momentum mean? It means that you basically make the most of the high points of your interaction. So when you have a high point, when the girl is engaging you on this high, it's an emotional high. She's like, oh my God, I like you, or oh my God, laughing, excitement, investing, that emotional high. You make the most of that moment and you lead from there. Most guys don't do this. Most guys try to lead at the random times. They try to say, hey, I can lead at a random moment here or a random moment there. But when you're leading properly, you're going to lead during emotional highs. And what you have to understand is that each emotional moment with the girl is another jump. So at an emotional high, for example, would be the girl laughs and smiles. The girl laughs and is like, oh my God, you're crazy. The girl laughs. And you'll see some infield footage demonstrating how I do this. So the girl laughs and smiles, and what's the next step? You lead from there. That's kind of an emotional high. Each emotional high, each emotional moment is a jump. An example of an emotional moment would be her laughing or humor, her investing in you in some way. Investing physically, it could be, or investing with her words. It could be her investing as simple as just, making really strong eye contact with you and going from there. Right? So each emotional moment that the girl gives you is another jump. So it's like maybe the girl will laugh and smile, and I'll take her and say, come to the bar. Like, if you don't lead, this is how you're going to get results. Again, this part of the getting results section, you have to fucking lead. But from the beginning, you have to fucking lead. Each time you get an emotional reaction from a girl or an emotional moment from a girl, you have to hold that hand out and walk with. Hold that hand out and walk with. And make a move with the girl, right? Each time you get the emotional moment from her, you have to fucking make a fucking move. If you don't do that, you're not going to be winning. Because again, you're going to be getting the surface level emotions each time you get that emotional high. And here's the thing, I call it emotional momentum because this is how you're going to be taking girls home from the night. Each moment that you get, each of those emotional moments that you get and you lead and move the interaction forward, you are building momentum. You're gathering momentum in your interaction, right? So a guy who goes and meets a girl and only talks to her by the bar for like 20 minutes is much less likely to pull that girl than a guy who talked to her by the bar, then went upstairs with her to the rooftop, then bounced downstairs to another part of the club, then ended up getting laid. right? There's a big difference between getting momentum in your interactions where the girl's like, I feel like me and this guy are going on a journey together. It's like there's all these distractions, but me and him are going on this journey together, than a guy who just stagnates and never gathers momentum. A lot of guys who pick up especially think of momentum as in, I'm going to go out and approach girls every day, but the real momentum comes from just one little interaction you get. Like each interaction, I'm constantly trying to get momentum and move the interaction forward. That's it. I'm constantly trying to move it forward to get more results. And one thing I want to add before we get into, the proper frame when you're leading is that it has to happen early. You can't properly lead a girl if you do it later on. Like a lot of guys wait for the right moment to lead. But remember, we talked about this earlier, you get the most attraction from the girl early on in the interaction. Remember, when you first come up, the girl's like, hey, who's this guy? I'm excited to meet him. That's when you get the most attraction. So that's when you need to lead. You need to lead when you're getting the most attraction from the girl. And the more attraction you have, which is the very beginning, the more the girl's going to comply with you. The more the girl's going to do what you say. So the more attraction you get, attraction's up here, the more compliance you're going to get. The more the girl's going to say, I'll follow you around. I'll go with you here because I'm attracted to you. Again, a girl will sacrifice or do things for a guy she's attracted to. A guy she's not attracted to, a girl will not do anything and you'll be getting no, no, no. So if you're going out and you're like, girls don't want to follow me around, the reason why is probably because girls are not attracted to you. How do you get girls attracted to you? Well, the fuckboy friend principles we went over in the previous section, about how to interact with women, how to show your intent, things like that. Sub-communication, that's how you become more attractive. But once you have the attraction and the girl's like, I'm into this guy, you lead by telling her, come here, but you have to do it early. You can't do it in the moment. You can't do it later on. You can't wait for the interaction to be like, now I feel like I'm comfortable enough to lead her. No, it has to be from the very fucking beginning. You can't fucking wait. So more attraction equals more compliance. And the more compliance you get, the more the girl starts complying with your wishes, like come over here to the bar, come over here outside, come over here downstairs. The more you get that from the girl, the more momentum you're going to get. And the more momentum you get, the closer you get to sex. It's simple as that. It's a simple fucking equation. And again, when you are leading, when you are building this momentum, you're going to get closer to pulling each time. You're going to get closer to taking girls home or taking girls home. Like all the interactions that I've had where I've pulled and made something happen the same night has been because I got this emotional momentum going. This momentum, it's like the interaction just starts to go straight downhill. Not in a bad way, but downhill is in gathering speed, gathering momentum. The girl's falling into my reality. She forgets about her friends. She does. I don't have to worry about dealing with all those problems. And we're going to talk later about solving problems in the next video, but this is what happens when you fucking lead. When you lead girls and you make shit happen, when you lead girls and you're like, come here, we're doing this, and we're going to talk about, the framing of how you do this. But when you lead early, when you build this compliance, when you build momentum, you're going to be winning. If you don't do that, if you don't build momentum with the girl, your interactions are going to stagnate. So again, you have to establish yourself as the cause versus the effect through leading. You have to establish, hey, I'm the guy who's dictating this interaction. This is my masculine energy and it's interacting with your feminine energy. And then from there, you build momentum, emotional momentum, by capitalizing on the emotional highs. When the girl laughs, when she smiles, come with me. Now, how do you frame this in a way that's going to get you getting yes responses instead of no responses? Well, the first proper frame is, I'm already going here, come with me. I'm going here, come with me. A lot of guys kind of try to frame their interactions as, do you want to go outside or do you want to go over here? How about we go over to the bar? But the frame that I have it is, I'm already going to go here. Or like, I want to go to the bar with you, right? It's like, it's already going to happen, come with me. Because the second you make it about, let me change my plans for you, you're no longer demonstrating that masculine presence and you're demonstrating that you're at the cause versus the effect. And it's very micro. Don't overthink this, of course. If you accidentally say to a girl like, hey, want to go to the bar? And the girl's like, sure. You're like, I shouldn't have said that. Never mind. I did the game wrong. Don't think of it like that. There's no such thing as doing the game wrong. I'm just telling you the most efficient way you could do things. So when you're leading a girl, if you tell her, if you're leading or trying to lead and you're like, want to go over here? It sounds much less, but much less effective than the frame of, I'm already going here, come with me, right? I'm already going to go here. It's like, no matter what, I'm already going to go here, come with me. And honestly, the basic principle is you have to make it about her joining your adventure. The girl has to be joining your adventure. She has to be joining your reality, right? Because again, this is your path as a man. This is not you saying to the girl, hey, I want to modify my plans for you. No, this is the girl joining your adventure. You think about it like this. If you've ever had a girlfriend, or you've had anyone that you were dating, and you guys go out to a club or go out even in the street and go get food or something, who's the one usually leading and deciding what happens next? It's usually you as the man, right? If you've had a girlfriend, it's usually you as the guy who's like, oh, let's go here, let's go there. In most relationships, most feminine, masculine relationships, the masculine partner is the one who's leading. So when you're talking to a girl in a club It shouldn't be any different. You should be establishing the masculine role, and she's the feminine role. And the more feminine she is, the more that allows her to unlock her emotions and open up her emotions to you, right? So you should have the frame of, we're already going to go here, come with me. Now, the other part about this is you have to assume that it's going to happen when you do it. When you lead, you have to assume that it's going to happen. You can't wait for the girl's approval. Now, again, some situations in the infield, you'll see some situations are a little different. Sometimes it's a different situation. For example, the infield I'm going to show you guys in a couple minutes is me taking a girl from this guy that was making out with her, and I gave her to one of my students so he could end up pulling her, right? But usually what happens is in situations where it's a girl with just standing there, maybe her friends are nearby, you can't not believe it's going to happen. You have to assume that whatever you want is already going to happen. You have to assume that no matter what you say, it's going to be met with a yes response, right? I call it not waiting for approval, but fully committing. So if I go to a girl and I'm like, come to the bar with me, I'm not going to be like, again, do you want to come to the bar with me? No, it's like, come to the bar, adventure, right? And I'll put my hand out like this, my arm out, so that the girl can come with me. And then she puts her arm under and we walk. Look at the other infield that I did in the previous couple of videos where I pulled those girls back home from the streets. How did I do it? It's just the sound and then they come and fucking follow, right? The context behind the way you lead should be, I assume that it's already going to happen. It can't be a context of, let me see the best position that I can get to make this happen. It has to be, I assume it's already going to happen. Again, you can't wait for approval. Even if you question yourself in your mind, because some guys will say, yeah, but I struggle with not questioning myself. Okay, well, even if you question yourself in your mind, you can still trick yourself into physically making a move happen. Remember we talked about the external and internal. You physically can train your mind to do what you want it to do. So if I have a girl that I want to lead, if I have a girl that I'm planning on leading, I'm just going to do it. Even if I'm questioning myself in my mind, I'm still going to hold my arm out and fucking lead her without hesitation, without any self-judging or second-guessing, right? Now, the other part of this is leading in flow. It's called leading in flow. What does this mean? It means when you go with girls to a place, when you are trying to lead girls, you want to lead in flow of the night. You don't want it to be, let's say that you have two girls walking down the street a certain direction. You don't want to be like aimlessly, hey, come here, let's go back the other way. You want to lead in flow. So when I'm leading in a club, for example, the next place I'll lead is I'll meet her on the dance floor and I'll say, come with me to the bar. Well, let's say she's by the bar. I'll be like, have you been to the bar upstairs? Right? I'm leading in flow. I'm not saying like a random just come over here for no fucking reason. It's leading in flow. I call it not having a forceful action. You don't want to have a forceful action. You don't want it to be like, quick, get away from whatever you're doing and come with me. It's not like an emergency, like quick, we're running out of time. No, it's just a, hey, join me by the bar. It's leading in flow. Right? The key to this is remembering social awareness. You need to be socially aware. Remember the girl situation and think about her current agenda. If you have a girl that's going from one place in the club to the upstairs part or the rooftop or something, instead of saying, stop where you're going and come downstairs, you could lead her upstairs. You could be like, I'm going upstairs, come with me. You can go like this and then walk with the girl upstairs. Right? It doesn't have to be a forceful action. It doesn't have to be a change of direction, we're going this way. It could be, hey, I'm going here, come with me, but it could be the same direction she's going. Well, what are you doing when you're leading? Again, you're establishing the frame of I'm the one that is dictating the course of the interaction. Something I call it as well is like the Rubik's Cube principle. Part of this leading in flow, part of this not doing the herky-jerky motions, leading in flow is the Rubik's Cube principle. So I call it, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 1 step back, 2 steps forward. So maybe what I'll do is I'll be like, come to the bar with me. Then the girl will say, I need to go back to my friends. Maybe we'll go back to our friends, and then I'll say, come outside with me. Right? It's constantly a back and forth. It's not a thing where I'm telling the girl, we have to constantly move forward, and that's it. And we'll talk about this with the problem solving as well. I'm doing the Rubik's Cube principle. It's always 1 step back, 2 steps forward. Or 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Right? I'm always making sure that I am leading, but at the same time giving the girl room to feel like I'm a normal person. And I'm going to show you guys kind of how I do this here in this interaction. It's a pretty good interaction that I had in a club. I was out with my students here in New York City, and I met this girl at night, and I wanted to demonstrate for my students how to pull and how to make shit happen and how to lead and how to like take a girl from a guy. I normally don't do that all the time, but in this case I was feeling like fuck it, why not? So I took her from the guy she was talking to. He's a pretty attractive guy. You'll see him in the video. He was making out with her and everything, but I took her away from him and gave her to someone else to pull home. And let's look at how I went and did this, and let's look at how the leading principles apply here. So to give you guys some context into the background of this clip that I'm about to show you, I was, like I said, I was on weekend intensive, and it was me, my boot camp assistant, my 2 students, and another guy, and we were it was literally 4 of them, well 5 of them, 4 of them and not including myself, so 5 guys, and there's this girl who's making out with this guy, and I told one of my students to go in and take her from him, because I just sensed, I felt that he could do it, because the guy I felt wasn't on point. There was just, I sensed that he wasn't in that masculine frame, and he was going for the make. He was going so hard with it, and she was making out with him, but she was not fully bought into it. She was just doing it because he was a tall, attractive guy, and he was there, but she wasn't fully bought into it. So I kind of was like, fuck it, let me tell my students to go in. And none of them did it properly. They all were like being super needy, kind of looking. So I said, hey, fuck it, I'm going to get in here and I'm going to demonstrate for them. And let's see what happens. And one thing to notice here is that my verbal game is actually pretty bad. Like, I'm saying absolute nonsense. It's not even bad. I just was saying complete nonsense to the girl. But you'll see how it still works because of how I use the principles of leading and the principles of self-communication that we've been going over in the Fuckboy frame. Let's crack into it.
Talking to the guy, he lost. Excuse me, I have to ask you, do you enjoy like the 3 men all chasing you?
You see this, I open her and I'm like, excuse me, and I call out exactly what happened. Remember earlier we talked about social awareness, right? Social awareness is you literally are calling out the situation that's happening, you're being aware. So I noticed that she was kind of rejecting guys now, except for the guy she was with, because it was 3 guys around her all chasing her. It was 3 guys, or more than that, basically 3 guys around her all chasing her, like, excuse me, I want your attention. So I was like, there's a brown guy, there's a white guy, there's an Indian guy, like all that shit, and she was kind of laughing because I called it out. So it wasn't weird. Before it would have been weird, but it wasn't weird because I called it out.
Are you like, there's one, there's another one, 2 seconds, there's another one, there's an Asian one, there's an Indian one, and there's like a mixed one. You like destroy all 3 of them? Like,
which one is the hottest?
Which one is the what?
Hottest.
I would say
Honestly, your opinion.
It's between the tall one and the fuckboy. And the tall one, the fuckboy.
So you see what happens here? So I basically call it out. I'm like, do you like all of them hitting on you? And I just call her straight up out on her shit. I'm like, do you enjoy the attention from all of them? Are you a validation-seeking little whore, basically? And I'm like, there's this one, this one, this one. And I'm like, which one do you think is the most attractive, the tall one or the fuckboy? And she's like, the tall one. So the whole time, actually, she indicates that she's interested in the other guy, but I end up taking her away because of my subcommunication. Like, I'm literally sharing the girl's space. You can see how fucking close to her I am. I'm literally like chest to chest with her. Her tits are fucking touched up against my chest. Remember, subcommunication, sharing the girl's space, having that close proximity with the girl. And then you'll see how I lead her in a couple minutes.
So you prefer guys that are like tall and dominate, not guys that are like emotionally fuck you over like I would.
Alright, like, to be real, like, taller, bigger, like, throw me around, like, I want to be dominated.
But how about emotional manipulation?
So I'm literally just saying fucking nonsense. I'm like, how about emotional manipulation? And you can see the guy here is kind of freaking out. He starts like grabbing at her hand. The second I saw that, I knew I was going to instantly just win. It's really funny because that stuff I'm saying is ridiculous. I'm like, but do you prefer emotional manipulation instead of a guy who's going to throw you around? Like, it makes no sense. But again, my eye contact was so strong. Remember we talked about that appreciative eye contact, visualizing fucking the girl. This girl has an insane body. So I was just visualizing all this. And it fucking works. It's fucking hilarious. I mean, you can see it right here. There's not even a lot to break down because you can see what's happening here. She's just engaging me so much. She's giving me all her attention, and this guy's losing completely. Even though what I'm saying is ridiculous, and she's verbally telling me that she likes the other guy more, the guy has no chance.
Oh my god, how about that?
I don't get that invested, though.
It wouldn't. Here, look, let me show you. Put your arms around me real quick. Just like you like me for 2 seconds. Just pretend I'm gay. Pretend I'm gay.
So I noticed the guy was starting to look in there, and I was like, put your arms around me like you like me for 2 seconds. Just put your arms around me, because the guy was starting to kind of grab her arm and stuff, and I was like, fuck this, I'm going to get more physical with her now. Then I said, put your arm around me like you like me. Then I was like, pretend I'm gay, because I didn't want the guy to kind of freak out, and I didn't want her to kind of freak out as well. Again, social awareness. I can kind of get away with saying that. I wouldn't suggest that everyone does that. Pretend I'm gay, because some guys like don't know how to actually hold that frame and be very sexual, and they say I'm gay, they start to act actually gay. You don't want to do that. But look what happens. So she puts her arm around me, and then
I'm gay. So no, relax.
That's what I mean. That's all I want. That's it.
So literally, she tries to bite my neck, and I'm like, no, hey, relax, like focus, because I'm building more tension. I don't want to break the tension by having her just be the next guy that she starts to make out with or get sexual with. I don't want that. It's already sexual because the eye contact, and you'll see it gets even more here. But I literally was just like, no, fucking relax, focus, and that solidified the masculine frame. That was kind of the turning point where I was like, okay, now I know that I can have this girl. I already knew that the other guy was losing, but I didn't know I could actually take her from him. The second that happened, and she was like, that's what I want. I knew it. I was like, shit, there it is. There's the moment.
Don't do it. Is it your birthday?
No.
And I'm like, is it your birthday? And I just keep the fucking eye contact there. Just like, is it your birthday? It makes no sense. But again, anything to build tension, anything to build more and more and more fucking tension. You'll see how I use emotional momentum to lead her in a second.
Is it your birthday?
No.
I really want to kidnap you right now. Like, I really just want to kidnap you right back there to the other room and say horrible, dirty things in your ear. But
Big one. Big one who can throw me around. That one right there.
before we get to throwing around our girls, think about the emotional throwing around.
So basically, I'm like, I want to take you to the side of the room and I want to just whisper naughty things in your ear. And she was like down for it. And I was like, but, because at this point, I was actually questioning myself because I was like, could I actually do this and take her away from the guy? I knew in the back of my mind, like, sure, it's going to be easy, but I was like, shit, like she was literally just making out with this guy. You don't see it on camera, but she had been like tonguing him down, and I was like, fuck, could I actually do this? Yes, I could do it though. And she was like, but what? And I just kept building more tension, just more tension, more tension, more tension.
I'm really gay, actually. I'm gay.
Again, more social awareness. The guy looks over at me and he's kind of looking at me like what the fuck, like what's happening? And I'm just like, I'm gay. I'm really gay, actually. I'm really gay. And I make sure he doesn't like jump in and try to kill me just by telling him I'm fucking gay.
Oh my fucking god! Chelsea! Can I borrow you over there for 2 seconds?
And he starts to say things in her ear. I don't know what the fuck he said. And I just was, this was unbelievable because I was like, I can't believe I'm actually like doing this fucking retarded shit. And the guy starts saying things and I'm just like, Chelsea. I don't even know her fucking name, but I'm just like, Chelsea. And she looks at me like, what? And she comes back over, and then I'm like, can I borrow you for 2 seconds? You'll see what happens. And the guy is just like trying to save the thing that's just burning down.
Can I borrow you over there for 2 seconds and bring you back?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm gonna bring her right back. Like right now. I'm serious, I'm gonna bring her right back. 2 seconds. I'll bring her right back. I'm gonna bring you right back. Robbed up.
Tell me everything.
The most disappointing part is that you don't have a choker on. Stop fighting it. Go with it. Stop fighting it.
To see what happens. So I take her from the guy, and now that's leading. So now I'm leading her, and emotional momentum's happened. So now it's like the first step is emotional momentum. You move, shift forward. That's what happened here. I take her from the guy. He's kind of like, fuck, I lost, and I didn't want to actually run into him later. And then now I'm in the interaction with her, and it gets a little sexual. The word I'm saying here is actually pretty off. It's pretty bad. And I wanted to use it to show you guys kind of that I'm not fucking perfect. Like, I have times where I say weird shit and stuff as well. I think that if I only show you perfect infield the whole time, sure, it's cool to see. But there are examples of times where I kind of fuck up, but it's my sub-communication that does the thing for me, right? Even though I kind of fuck up a little bit, it's my sub-communication that does all the work for me. It's not the verbals and all that stuff. It is the context behind what I'm saying. And when I say context, real quick, I mean the context behind how my body looks, right? How does my body look when I'm talking to the girl? How am I conveying who I am? Again, these fuck boyfriend principles of being versus doing.
Go with it. Stop fighting it. I like feel like everything in you is just like, oh my god, take me. But you're like, no, I have to pull and push a guy away and shit.
Wait, so what's your name again?
Did that guy have crusty lips?
What?
Remember we talked about, cutting the thread and not always answering the girl's responses and just talking about what you want to talk about? That's what I was doing here. So she said, what's your name again? I said, does that guy have crusty lips? Because I was considering making out with her, especially for the camera. Normally I don't actually do a lot of the physical shit. You can see how I'm being super physical here. So remember we talked about physicality earlier, and I didn't want to break any infill down in that video, but here's an example of the physicality. My arms are around her hips, and I'm very comfortable being there, right? And I tell her, stop resisting earlier. I told her, stop resisting, stop fighting me, and she kind of surrenders to me, and she's like, what's your name? And I'm like, does that guy have crusty lips? You seem like he has crusty lips. I'm kind of just throwing shit at that guy, so if she happened to meet him again, she'd have already had this kind of negative idea about who he was in her mind. Did that guy have crusty lips?
Sort of, kinda, yeah.
Did he have crusty lips?
He was just like not doing it for me.
He wasn't a good kisser? She's like, he's not doing it for me. So now, blam, I just solidify you don't like this guy. She's like, he's not doing it for me. Then she starts going on this rant about what she likes.
I was literally like, you have to listen to me. You're gonna try this, like, you have to listen.
You told him that?
Yeah, I was literally
Or you're telling me I have to listen?
yeah, you need to listen. You need to listen.
No, I'm too much of a
You
cunt.
need to listen. Okay, cunt, you need to listen.
Fine,
bitch.
tell me in my ear. Tell me in my ear.
Okay. I was like, honey, you need to listen. Like, you need to dominate me. Like, you need to want my word. Like, I'm a really, like, bossy ass bitch. So, like, I want someone that will, like, step into my life and literally be like, no, like, you're my girl. And, like, I want to, like, throw you around and have my way with you. And I'm like, fuck yeah. And this kid is just like, okay, like, I'll kind of try to do that. So, like, isolate me from, like, other guys. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then, like, we'll be alone. And we'll be like, like, you're the boss. I'm like, no. Like, I want to be, like, thrown around, like, slamming against the wall and just be like,
You like being tied up?
fuck yeah.
So basically what happens is she's literally just like saying what she wants sexually, and I start biting her neck to kind of make her turned on. This goes a little all over the place, but I mean, the context behind it was just me being super fucking sexual, very physical, and I wasn't even my words. I wasn't saying crazy shit here. I said, you like being tied up, but she's like, fuck yeah. And then we kind of go down that path as well, and you'll see how I eventually set up the pull with her and make that happen.
Most people are really insecure about that.
Grab it, like tie me up, like choke me, like dominate me.
No,
like that's
to be
what I
honest,
need.
most women, when you try shit like that, they're super insecure. I'm actually shocked you said yes. Most girls, when you're like, hey, do you like being tied up? They're like, I don't know, because they don't really know what they want. But I can see in your eyes, you know exactly what you want.
I know exactly what I want, so I'm literally like, honey, you need to like understand. Like you're with like a woman.
But see,
like,
you're still resisting. Come here. What do you think I do for work?
What do you do?
What do you think I do for work? Yes.
And here's an example of like, you shouldn't say this, because the girl is going on this deep sexual thread, and I was still like, fuck, could I actually just fucking pull her right now? The thought was, yes, I could do it, and in this moment, I should not have fucking questioned myself from shooting infield, and I was thinking, does the cameraman have the fucking shot? So I could have totally just skipped out on saying this. I knew that it wouldn't ruin the interaction if I said it though, so I was like, what do you think I do for work? Just to kind of add in a little more comfort, but it was not even necessary. And at the time, I didn't think that. I was like, maybe I should ask her this and just build more comfort, but I could have completely cut it out. It doesn't matter though, because again, the sub-communication was still on point. But let's see what happens.
Something interesting, obviously.
No.
Oh, what?
That was just, I teach meditation.
No way.
Come drink with me. I'm gonna go.
So we just had this moment where I'm just kind of like silent with her, and we just was like spaced out. And then when I tell her, I'm like, come drink with me. Again, I built a lot of tension. I'm not worried about thinking of more things to say. I kind of did have a little bit of extra shit. Like I said, though, what do you think I do for work? Unnecessary. But I was like, come drink with me. And the girl was like, okay, that's it. And remember the frame, we talked about leading. So you already saw one example of how I took the hand. I was like, come with, didn't even question myself. But the other frame is, I'm always already going here, you should come with. So what did I say? Come drink with me. I didn't say, do you want to go get drinks? I just said, come drink with me. And then you'll see how I paint a picture, and I tell her what we're going to do. I tell her this whole plan, how we're going to lead, how we're going to grab drinks, and how we're going to have the rest of our night. And I'm like, come drink with me. Let's fucking do it. You'll see how it works here.
I'm gonna go to another place and then I'm gonna go. You smoke?
Yes.
And then we'll smoke. I'm going to a place like 5 minutes away.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring my friends too, and then we'll go somewhere else. Oh, wait. Are you from here?
And then you see the weekend intensive students follow me out, and there's that. And what happened is afterwards we went outside, and I kind of got a little more physical with her, and then she went inside to kind of tell her friend she was leaving, and I went back to my other students, and she came back out, and another guy that was on program with us saw her, and I was like, go ahead, take her, and he fucking ended up going home with her. Or I don't think he closed her. I'm not sure if he made it happen or not. But yeah, that's that. So you see the context of like how you're fucking making shit happen when you go out at night, when you're leading, is the leading principles. Again, you're always making sure that you are getting emotional momentum. You make the most. When the girl invests, when she smiles, when she laughs, when she gives you that eye contact, that's when you lead. The frame of how you lead is, I'm already going to go here, come at the thing. You can't question yourself. You have to just hold the hand out, come, as you saw how I did there. And you establish the masculine frame. She has the feminine frame. You saw that girl open up about her emotions. She was like, I want a guy who does this. I want a guy who does that. And that's that. Next, we're going to crack into problem solving and how to, make the most of your interactions and deal with issues that come up so that you can get more efficient with getting laid at night. And this works during the day as well, but get more efficient with getting late at night and make sure that you are playing to win and not playing to lose and gaming smart, meeting girls the smart way.